Namaste again. So this is the seated broken back float demonstration for people in posture groups 8 and 9. The people in group 9 are the ones that are confined to their chair. The people in group 8 are recommended to watch both videos, the one for 8 and 9 because you spend a lot of your time sitting, but also the one for 6 through 8 because if it's at all possible to learn this stuff standing up, that's definitely the best way to do it, right? But, if you're in group 8, you really do need both because you spend a lot of time in this chair, right? So, basically, what we want to show you here today is proper posture, what it really is a little more closely, how to test whether you've attained it, and how to start moving in a way that uses it. That's really what the broken back float is about. So, as far as the posture goes, um, this again. Oh no, I take that back. You guys haven't seen the furniture videos yet. Never mind. Actually, in your case, because you are confined to a chair, bit of a heads up. You're going to get a recommendation for some kind of little cushion. Air filled is the best that you can stick in the back of your chair, so that you can actually lean back and put your shoulders back the way you're supposed to. You can do this exercise without it because we want to bring you to the front of your chair. But if you have a lot of trouble moving and you can't really get to the front of your chair, try putting a small pillow or balloon even right behind your back here and see if that helps you be able to sit in a way that allows you to try to do this, right? Okay, so the thing to do really is to get as close to standing as you can. So that means getting to the front of the chair. If you really have a hard time moving, you can't simply lift yourself up and move forward, right? And try grabbing the back of your chair so that you can push yourself forward. Just a little bit at a time, right? You can see that I'm standing up real straight, right? That's what you're about to learn how to do. What exactly am I doing? Most people are sitting in their chair, and it looks something like this, right? Your head tends to be down, your shoulders are rounded. This stuff kind of all gets crunched, and your legs tend to be out. But, it's not too much work to sit there, so sit there. You do, right? You kind of get used to this. Well, um, it's almost impossible to correct your posture sitting back in a chair like that. It's possible for me because I've had a lot of practice. You're going to need to pull yourself forward. You can also use the front of your chair to pull yourself forward. See, I know that this is the way to push myself forward, like when I broke my back, without causing pain. But you might find in the beginning, you haven't really played with anything yet, that you're used to pulling. And if that works, then that works, right? But get yourself to the edge of the chair so that you can actually try to sit up straighter, right? You can use your hands a little bit to pull up if you'd like. It's certainly good to start moving things around, stretch a little bit, right? Basically, you want your heels, your knees, your hips, and your shoulders to all be in a straight line. So obviously it's not exactly a straight line if you're sitting down, but they should be the same distance apart all the way down, right? You don't want them wide, and most importantly, all of us have learned to keep our knees together. That is really, really bad for posture, right? Get them out to the distance of your hips. Line everything up. When you line everything up, it does kind of automatically make you want to put your shoulders back. And that's exactly right. What happens if there's kind of three things that you do all together at once, and everything just kind of fits better. It's hard to describe. When you have your tail out, so that's the other problem with our sitting, right? We tend to sit like this, and our hips are tipped like this. We want to tip our hips back this way. Tail out, shoulders back, chin up, right? Heels, knees, hips, shoulders, line it all up. Your chin, lift your chin so that you can see. You have the doubled range of vision, or at least you're working towards it, that nature intended, right? Get the chin up. That is better posture. If it's possible in your chair, some of you might have a chair where this is not possible. Some kinds of wheelchairs would not allow it. Most of them will. If you have footrests, because you're coming to the front of your chair here, you can take your feet out of the footrest so that you can back those feet up. It really does make a difference. If you have your feet out like this, your body's going to just accept it if you do that because you're used to this terrible posture. It's probably not even going to feel weird. But to me, oh my gosh, it's huge. It's like if I'm sitting here perched on the edge, my feet want to tuck right up underneath me, right? Heels, knees, hips lined up. And now it does look more like a straight line, even though you're in a chair, doesn't it? It's amazing how the body it always wants to return to the center. So that's lined up. That's all there is to it. Not really that hard, right? It's very easy to remember because your body just, in the beginning, it's going to feel awkward. Definitely. You're going to notice things kind of pulling, like if you've been stuck in this, if you've been holding your head like this constantly, just the simple act of lifting your chin, you might even want to, use your hands to help hold it up a bit so that you can relax without you don't want to have to hold your head up. If it's not used to doing this, use your hands to hold your head up. This is a 15-pound bowling ball. Okay, don't laugh and think of yourself as wimpy. Just do it. Hold your head up so that you can, let your body slowly start to assume a different shape for a little while, right? You're probably going to have a lot of tingles and stuff. This is your neck that you're moving, and if it's always stuck like this, just going like this is a big deal. If you watch people having headaches sometimes, this is one of the natural moves that you just kind of want to pull. You just pull your head back and you kind of dig your fingers in there. Oh, it feels very good, right? So that's posture. Now, in the beginning, you're really going to want a mirror, especially if you're seated in a chair. Not really start talking about mirrors till you get to stretching for most folks. But for you, get out your mirror. If you're stuck in a chair all the time, you have to remember that this is the one position that the human body was not meant to be in, right? So, if you haven't heard that before, stop and think about it. Digest for a second, right? It's a big deal. If this is the only way you are comfortable, you have absolutely no idea what your body wants anymore. Your body is totally desensitized because you've gotten used to the most uncomfortable positions and learned to think of them as normal and comfortable. Like your autopilots are totally out of whack. You can't really, it's going to be hard in the beginning to learn to listen to your body mind. It's going to be all but impossible to hear. So you want to have a mirror. You want to be able to look at yourself and see. It's like, if I just sit here thinking about it, and I'm normally a slouch, so I try to sit up. Okay, well, I get this far. Well, that really feels like sitting up. I mean, that was a 3 to 4 inch difference right there, right? I'm not really sitting up, am I? Sitting up. It's another 3 inches back here, okay? You want a mirror so that you can see what you're doing. And then there's also a test you can do. The only test that I can recommend from a seated position, unfortunately, is one that requires another human being. Miss Iris, can you come push me over with a feather? She's ready to go. So if you are sitting here, and well, actually, let me do it the slouch way first, right? Okay, so if I just kind of sit normally, okay, go ahead and try to push me over. Okay, that was way too hard. Okay, like a feather. Okay, this is the feather bounce. Just push me like a feather. Oh, wow, you're too rigid. Okay, relax. Wow, she needs a little relaxing going on before we try this. It's okay. It's okay. You got it. Okay. Oh, darn it. I had better posture there again. Okay, hang on. Okay, push me over. Okay, there we go. If you're watching very closely, we have to do this a couple of times so they can see it. I tend to move backwards, and then it's like, well, that's where she left me, so that's where I stay. Now, if you're in pain, it's going to be hard to do that. You might have to hold yourself up, or else you have to use muscles to come back, right? Try it again. Right, like if I'm in tension, if I'm slouching, it's a given if you're slouching that your body is tense. And if you're tense and somebody pushes on you, you just stay stuck. One more time.
Okay.
Right. It might bounce a wee bit, but basically I just stay stuck. Okay, let's try this with good posture. If I am balanced, everything's lined up, heels, knees, hips, shoulders, right? I kind of, you can almost feel it without her even pushing on me. I can even feel it. I'm just kind of balanced, and if I wiggle a little, my body just comes right back to the center spot. Okay, try. Definitely the feather now. Okay, don't push me over. Okay, try it again. Well, that was a little. That was too hard. Okay, just okay. Be normal. Okay, well, that was a little better. I did come back. Okay, let's try it again. We want to do a couple of slow demonstrations. Do it again. Well, that was way too hard, but I did come back. Okay, do it much gentler. Okay, you're pushing on me really hard. Okay, like that's you're really tense. There you go. Relax your body. Oh, maybe that's why you can't push me gentle because you're tense. So you might want to think about this in the person you have pushing on you, right? You want to make sure that they're kind of relaxed. Okay. Oh, sorry. They need to be kind of relaxed. Otherwise, they're going to be pushing on you kind of hard. And if you're in this fragile group, that's not too cool. Okay. Oh, that was beautiful. Yes. I definitely felt her move me, and as you could see, my body just automatically wanted to wobble right back. Okay, try it again. Yeah. Do it a few times. Okay. All right, thank you. That's enough. You get the idea. When you find your center of balance, your body is going to naturally want to return to that spot if anything pushes you out of it. When you are out of balance, your body's going to want to stay there, or it's going to yell at you that something starts hurting. That's how it is. When I broke my back, the only way I could move without pain was when I had flawless posture. Now, the beautiful part about this is that no matter how much pain you are in, you can attain flawless posture. This is not an exercise. It doesn't require you to already work out your knots before it starts feeling good. Like, that's just part of the magic of life. If you are lined up correctly, you will be able to move without pain. This is a fact, right? Like, the reason it's called the broken back float is because that was the only way I could walk that didn't cause pain. Pretty simple, right? So, you got the idea. This is all about posture, testing to see whether you found your center of balance. There's a mirror, and really, have somebody mess with you like you saw Iris messing with me to kind of feel where your center of balance is at. So to try to do the broken back float in a chair, if you can't actually stand and walk at all, for people in group 8, that stuff will be covered in the other video, right? This is really for when you're stuck in the chair. How do you try to do this float stuff when you're stuck in the chair? And the answer is pretty simple. You have to move yourself forward in your chair so that you can start sitting up properly. So if you're always sitting back, and you're usually sitting like this, the first thing you do, bring your feet in. Probably have to use your arms a bit to stick your tail out, right? This chair is perfect. It leaves more space for my butt to stick out, and this comes in to hold my back. This is a chair that doesn't actually need a corrective pillow. It actually allows you to have good posture. So, again, if you don't have a chair like that, stick a little pillow in there, right? That's definitely step one. You want to start keeping a stick person posture. So get your tail out, get your shoulders back, and get that back straight. When you move forward in your chair and you learn to do it out here, then you really can feel whether you are sitting up properly or not. If you can't really move forward, then you do the best you can with what you have. But the idea is to straighten out that back. Also, you'll see this again in the stretching video, but um, in the beginning, it's so hard when you're this restricted in motion, right? There is something else to do with this chair that I don't actually have up on the board here, but you're going to need it right away, and it's going to help you figure out how to do the stick person thing. It's kind of like a combo, and that is the arm raises. If your arms aren't very strong, do as much as you can, even just a little bit. Even if this is as far as you get and you can't even straighten out your arms, just a little bit. Stick out your tail, get your shoulders back, put your arms straight underneath you. You don't have to be all the way far forward for this one. All you're doing is giving your spine a chance to stretch out, right? If you can, get all the way up. You don't have to lock your arms out, but if you need to, do it so that you can hang. Oh, if you need to, you can kind of tip yourself. Oh, so you can push against the chair a little. Let that stuff stretch. That will, if you just let gravity hang, or if you just let gravity pull on you when you're hanging, that will automatically straighten out your back. And that's also, maybe if you can't find anybody at all to do the feather bounce with, that's maybe not quite as wonderful. But it's also another way to start feeling what it feels like when your spine actually is hanging straight. And do it when you hang, right? So stick person. Again, don't forget about your feet. They like to be underneath for this stuff, not out here. That pulls you out of posture. If you're seated, tuck your feet underneath. And this is very, very, very close to standing posture practices. You're just basically using the chair as a tool to help hold up your body instead of just standing up, right? And the other thing to remember that's very, very important, it's going to become more and more important as the course goes along, is always wiggle, never force, right? You want to slowly keep things moving. You want to start feeling your way as you move. If you're trying to reach for your cup of coffee, don't just grab it. Okay? If you're sitting, if you're in group 9, odds are you're already probably good at this. You're probably going to be a little more careful and mindful as you go to reach for that coffee cup, because you know that reaching for it in the wrong way might set off a spasm in your back or what have you, right? That's definitely helping you. Learn to be mindful, but stop being nervous. That's the hard part, right? Like if you're in pain all the time, you're nervous that every time you move, something is going to hurt. If you start learning to line things up in this stick person posture thing, it's going to stop hurting so much. When you're lined up, then the pressure comes off of whatever's going wrong. It doesn't really matter, right? Some people ask, especially for group 9, well, if I'm so messed up, like say I've got really bad scoliosis or something, well, if I try to just do something like this, it's going to hang wrong because my body's so messed up that it's going to cause new pressure points in bad places because I'm just too far gone, right? That's not really true, okay? It would be very, very hard for me to explain that in the kindergarten version, but it really doesn't happen. There are rare exceptions, like if you break your leg, for example, you can't just stand up, or if you hold it at the wrong angle, the broken parts will rub against each other. Absolutely. If it was that extreme, you wouldn't be walking at all. You couldn't even sit up, okay? There's only so much damage you can do to the spine before you're totally out of commission. So don't worry about it, That's as you take the course, you're going to begin to see that there's a core of motion to how the human body is designed that's basically impossible to abuse, right? I mean, that's a strong statement. In today's day and age, we found a way to abuse absolutely everything, right? I mean, you can die from drinking too much water too fast. So the idea of something that cannot be abused is really, really wow, there are a few things like that out there, you know? Like, nobody has ever found a way to abuse silver. Nobody's ever found a way to cause it to harm the human body in any way. That's a remarkable statement. There's only one physical substance I know of that I can say that of, and that's silver. In the same way, the core of motion is something that cannot be abused. When things are lined up, or when you create the opportunity for things to line up, that's what they're going to head for. You know, if there were some human beings that were a different shape like a turtle, well, that would be a totally different class, but there aren't, okay? We all basically have the same shape, so this is pretty standard stuff, and if you stick with the core, you're going to find a way to relieve your pain. What's going to be hard is learning how to relax your body enough to allow it to go back to that core position. That's why you're in pain, because you have gotten used to keeping your body in positions that are not aligned with your core, not aligned with how you're meant to move. So that's really about it. Keep your stick person posture, right? And start learning to wiggle around in a way that, see, you can't really call it floating when you're in a chair. You're just slowly moving, right? It's a lot more graceful looking when you can dance around like a ballerina. That's okay. The point is that it's smooth, it's fluid motion, it feels good to move around, and you're always wiggling and trying to see what your body kind of feels good doing, always wiggling, never forcing your way, okay? That's going to be a lot easier for you, because if you try to force your way, you're going to be in agony, right? So just keep wiggling away. And that's about it. If you're taking this course for credit, make sure you send me a video again of you practicing some wiggling around with your new proper posture, and maybe even a description of some activity that you do, and describe how it goes differently for you when you use it with new posture, right? Namaste.